Every great myth has a missing chapter. In Final Fantasy XVI, the icons tower as living gods. Ifrit, Phoenix, Bahamut, Titan, just to name a few. They are the beings of flame, rebirth, light, and earth. Players see their power firsthand, yet there is one element, perhaps the most primal of them all, is conspicuously absent. Water. Where is its champion? What happened to its dominant? Why do the Codex entries call it Leviathan the Lost? Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. In this video, we will be exploring the forgotten peoples who bore Leviathan's seed, the daring experiment that froze time itself, and the boy called Waljas who was meant to be a savior but became a prisoner. By the end, you'll see how this lost icon reshapes what we think we know about dominance, Ultima's plan, and the fate of magic itself. Valisthea is a continent arranged like a wheel around its 6 mother crystals. Those crystals drip ether into the land, fuel for sorcery, for industry, for survival. They are also fault lines for war. Each realm looks to its icon, the godlike being bound to a chosen dominant, as a symbol of legitimacy and power. In the main game, we meet dominants in palaces, in battlefields, and in exile, but the icon of water is conspicuously absent. The Codex lists only a name and a note: lost. No nation lays claim to it, no one has seen its dominant in living memory. Even Cid's intelligence network, which keeps tabs on every magical anomaly, has only rumors. In fact, the mural Clive and Jill discover regarding Ultima's plan shows Leviathan being amongst the icons, but nothing is known in recent record of its existence. This absence primes the player to feel the same curiosity the characters do. Where Ifrit and Phoenix burn across the sky, Leviathan lurks in the margins. That is, until the Rising Tide DLC finally opens that sealed door. The people at the heart of this mystery are the Motes of Water. Now imagine a clan carrying not only a bloodline, but an elemental mandate from Ultima himself. For generations, they were shepherds of an inheritance, which is Leviathan's power. But unlike other dominant lines, they stayed hidden. First in Southern Ash, and then, as the Blight advanced, in a secret enclave called Mysidia. Mysidia's more than just a village. It's a magical refuge veiled in glamour. Outsiders see only mist and empty marshes. Within are labyrinthine pools, ancient ruins, and an unbroken oral history about Leviathan and the sea. It is here that Waljas was born in 798, the Motes' long-awaited dominant. But the Motes were tired of running. They hatch an audacious plan to build an artificial mother crystal using Waljas' ether as a living heart. Now this is knowledge that they gained in some form due to the records in the Echoes of the Fallen DLC in the game, which forms a connection between the two expansions. We know that in the Echoes of the Fallen were a lost civilization who were able to manufacture mother crystals as opposed to relying on the ones that were gifted by Ultima himself. To make it last forever, they used a forbidden art taught by Isai, an exiled dominant of Shiva, which is chronomancy. By freezing the crystal at the moment of its birth, they hoped to create an eternal sanctuary. Now this is unique in the world of Final Fantasy XVI. Every other icon is bound to a person, but here the tribe wants to bind its icon into a machine, and to bind time itself in the process. Now that ambition sets up the tragedy to come. A price to pay was just a small child to preserve the people. The ritual required Waljas to prime, to fully awaken Leviathan so the tribe could siphon its essence. But crucially, they never told Leviathan the whole truth. The serpent sensed the trap. Instead of docilely becoming a battery, it lashed out. In a moment, Leviathan called forth a tidal wall of annihilation, which is called the Surge, aimed at wiping Mysidia off the map. The Motes reacted on instinct, casting their chronomancy mid-ritual. Time shattered, Waljas and the Surge froze like insects in amber. For 80 years, the wave hung suspended above Mysidia, a shimmering scythe poised to fall, a wonder so large that it can be seen from the twins. Waljas, still conscious, drifted in a timeless prison. Shula's later words capture it. He was but a babe, conscious yet unmoving. He watched as the decades passed him by, with no hand to hold him, no voice to comfort him. To the rest of Valisthea, Leviathan simply disappeared. Scholars assumed the icon of water had never awakened at all, a fact that even our protagonists believe until they encountered Shula at the start of the expansion. Only the Motes knew the truth, and built their society under the shadow of their own frozen sin. Clive steps into this frozen tragedy in the rising tide. A cryptic letter brings him and Jill to Mysidia, where they find an entire culture living beneath a sky of suspended death. The Surge had become a kind of inverted monument, a living reminder of ambition and betrayal. With his power as mythos, Clive draws Leviathan's ether from the suspended Waljas, an act that summons Perikos, Leviathan's Igai, to attack. This is Leviathan's immune system lashing out after decades of dormancy in the face of a battle. After defeating it, Clive watches as Shula dismantles the Vare, the magical engine maintaining the time freeze. Waljas tumbles out of stasis at last, though the Surge remains frozen. 80 years of silence ended in a single breath. It is then that Ultima whispers, calling Leviathan his most profaned fragment.
Free once more. Leviathan, our most profaned fragment, its divinity defiled by the hand of man, its spirit shackled by his hubris, till Mythos came, bringing release. Now, let the sins of man be redeemed by the hand of the servant of God.
The result was inevitable. Leviathan primes, roaring into the skies after 8 decades, a colossal water serpent spiraling upwards like a hurricane given form. Now what follows is one of Final Fantasy XVI's most striking set pieces, and at least from my perspective and experience, the hardest icon battle in the entire game, as Ifrit plunges into a waterspout to meet Leviathan head-on. The arena shifts into a pocket dimension of surging currents and coiling laws. Leviathan unleashes a myriad of attacks, including hydro cannon blasts, corkscrewing strikes, and its ultimate attack, Tsunami, a mirror of the frozen Surge. Ifrit counters with flame-charged rushes, trying not just to destroy, but to reach Waljas. This contrast, water and fire, resentment and redemption, plays out both mechanically and narratively. On the brink of defeat, Ifrit executes Controlled Burn, vaporizing Leviathan's wave, then finishes with its signature move, Hellfire, shattering the serpent's barrier. Leviathan explodes in a burst of ether, Waljas collapses back into human form, the 80-year wound is finally lanced. Waljas and Leviathan's arc reframes the whole concept of icons and dominance. In betrayal and instrumentalization, unlike Clive or Jill, who choose how to wield their power, Waljas was used as a component, a battery. It's a cautionary tale about treating dominance as tools, something every nation in Valisthea is guilty of. As opposed to time as a cage, chronomancy literally freezes the dominant, but metaphorically it freezes his agency. He remains a child in a suspended present while decades pass. It's the dark mirror of immortality. Ultima seeded icons to shepherd humanity towards transcendence. By turning Leviathan into an eternal power source, the Motes profaned its intended role. This gives insight into Ultima's worldview and sets up his later confrontation with Clive. Fire, earth, ice, and wind all have visible champions. Water is hidden, forgotten, feared. This absence makes Leviathan's sudden return feel like history correcting itself and the elements coming together as balanced. By the DLC's end, magic itself begins to fade from Valisthea, icons passed into legend, Leviathan's defeat is also a release for Waljas, for the Mote, for the world. In the end, Waljas and Leviathan the Lost give Final Fantasy XVI one of its most haunting parables. Power without consent becomes a prison. Time meant to preserve can also entomb. Their story expands the tapestry of Valisthea and deepens our understanding of what icons are. They're not just weapons, but they are living myths shaped by the people who wield them. What did you think? Did the Motes have a choice? Was Ultima right about Leviathan being its most profaned fragment? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the lore of Leviathan and Waljas from Final Fantasy XVI, leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel so you can see more Final Fantasy content. Other than that, this is Enzo signing out, and I will see you all soon.